Alright there guys, Sowerz here, and I said I was going to do a question and answer video on Twitter, and I asked you guys to send me some questions in because I've got Black Ops 2. So those of you who follow me on Twitter, I've been tweeting out quite a bit about it, bit of information, what I think to it so far, but I want to do a question and answer just to some of my thoughts and a few things that have been kind of brought up in the scene about the rules and things like that, what we should be doing. I'm going to talk a bit about that as well. But yeah, really enjoying the game so far. I got it on Saturday, so yeah, obviously I got it quite early, which is like 3 days early, and I'm enjoying it. But quite a lot of pro players have got it quite early, so it's not exactly an advantage, I won't say. But yeah, I'll get straight into it. I mean, the first thing I wanted to talk about was something that's been coming up quite a lot on forums, such as the Sowerz on Twitter. And I wanted to talk a bit about Scorestreaks before getting to other questions, because I've been asked a lot about this, and there is a Universal Rules Council that's been made, and it features 6 European players. I'm one of them, and then it's going to have 6 American players like Rambo, Moho. I'm not sure who the others will be yet, but I think that's the plan for what we're going to be doing with the rules, in terms of how we're going to decide the rules, and we're going to try and keep it all under one roof, so we've got a global rule set. But it seemed a lot of people were saying about Scorestreaks that we should have them, especially the Americans were saying. And mostly from what I've seen on the server, most people don't want it. For those of you who followed me will know that I have a really strong opinion on this, and for me, in competitive Call of Duty, there is absolutely no place for score streaks, kill streaks, whatever, any form of score streak, because you look at any of them, if I get them up on my menu, which, well, I'm not on my Xbox right now, but any score streak, like the most simple one, a UAV, will ruin the whole game, because you'll know where the whole team is. You won't even need to get a spawn set up, you won't need to have good comms, you just abuse your radar. A UAV jammer will screw the other team's setup. Things like that, just every single score streak. Then obviously I don't need to go into the choppers, because what's tactical about a chopper flying around in the air and ruining the whole game, destroying the game? And it's not exactly hard to get these things, like a flag capture and a few kills and you've got one, and that, in my opinion, doesn't earn a chopper that's going to win you a game, or a big flying tank in the sky, which some of them are just ridiculous. Like, it's honestly, there's absolutely no way I can see how score streaks will help the game. I can see what people are saying, like, oh, score streaks are going to bring loads of players in, but I don't think that's the case either. I don't think it's, okay, now we've got score streaks, we're going to get thousands and thousands of players on streams. I think it's more about education. I've talked about this in other ones. We need to educate people about the ways of competitive gaming, what it's about, and I honestly think league play is a great way to do that. I mean, I tweeted out about the 2 leagues. There's one which is a 6v6 variant with everything allowed, and what they've done is a 4v4 competitive variant, but score streaks are allowed in it. You're allowed claymores. I think they've banned tactical insertions and care packages, but I don't know why they've banned care packages, because I'd rather have care packages than flipping flying choppers, stuff like that. So it's a bit confusing. I mean, if they're trying to use that to introduce players, then that's fair enough, but for me, score streaks, at the end of the day, they're not going to improve the game. They're going to completely ruin the game. It's going to take no teamwork. And people say you've got to adapt. Some people have been saying, oh, well, players just have to adapt. The best players will adapt. The simple fact is, if you look at the basics of how you earn score streaks, which is a few kills and a flag capture maybe, it's not a true way to earn something like that. It's going to ruin the game. How players don't have to. It's not about adapting to something like that. Anybody can adapt to air support, but people are thinking logically. People who are saying that they don't want it are thinking, right, we're used to 4v4 where it's just pure teamwork, pure comms, no aids. But as soon as you bring choppers in and stuff like that, you'll find Optic losing to the most random teams in the world. Scores will be so inconsistent, it'll take no teamwork. I mean, it's endless. Honestly, I cannot see one reason why I would want them in. People seem to think it'll bring loads of players in, but I think there's a lot more to it than that. And to me, I don't care how many players it brings in. I play Call of Duty competitive because I want to get away from all that crap. I want to get away from air support. I want to play a true rule set that has 4v4, you and your guns, you and your team, all pure comms, pure strats. I can just see an S&D or a CTF being ruined by a chopper coming out and changing the whole game. And really, what does the team have to do? It just doesn't require anything. No skill set whatsoever is required. It's not even strategy. People saying strategy. What strategy is there behind getting a chopper that drops people in one bullet? There's no strategy behind it at all. It's just the dumbest thing I've heard in my entire life, and it always will be. But yeah, sorry for that little rant there. It went on a bit longer than what I thought, but I'm going to get into some questions now. and I'll probably just put an annotation in the description so people can skip straight to it if they don't know that as well. But right, so I'm on Twitter now, and the first question, I ain't really doing it in any order, I'm just doing the first ones to last. If I get, I might continue it over into my next commentary. My next commentary will probably have gameplay as well, but yeah. Somebody's asked, well, it's NEC Gobby has asked, is there a dominant AR/SMG? At the moment, my favourite SMG, I'm obviously an SMG player, and my favourite so far has been the MP7, and I've recently just got the MSMC, and those two guns for me have been by far the best. They're not overpowered, but they're really enjoyable to use, and I feel like the Vector for one was really hyped up, but for me it's just not even that good. It's really weak, really rigid, and I find the MP7 really good, especially when you get the long barrel on it. I'm really enjoying that gun, and I'm starting to think it's probably my favourite gun. A lot of people are favouring the MSMC, and I can see why. It reminds me a lot of the 7.4U from Black Ops 1, but for me, MP7 I'm enjoying a lot, and I'm just trying to get used to the MSMC now, see what I think to it. But they're the best two SMGs so far, and I'll talk a bit later on in the video what I think is going to be the most dominant in terms of like ARs or SMGs. But AR's M27 is by far the best AR I've used. The Type 25 is okay, but the M27 is good. It's kind of like the ACR for Modern Warfare 3, but a bit less recoil, I'd say. So yeah, that's that. Somebody's asked, it's Cold Game Robs has asked, how is the sensitivity, or is it as usual, as normal as usual? So the sensitivity is there's 14 sensitivities. I'm currently playing on 5 sensitivity, which is the equivalent of about 3 sensitivity. And 4 sensitivity is about the equivalent of 2 sensitivity. So it's not that there's more sensitivity. So if you go on 14 sensitivity, right, it doesn't mean that you're on a quicker sense than 10 sensitivity on the other CODs. What it is they've increased the range of sensitivity so that the gap between each sensitivity is less. So you can fine tune what sensitivity you want a lot more. So it's kind of like having a 2.5 sensitivity, a 3.5 sensitivity kind of thing, really. But yeah, I mean, 5 for me has been the best because of how quick paced it is. I'm going to talk about that a bit later on. But somebody's asked about zombies. What is it like? I've not played it. I barely play zombies. Not my kind of thing. I mean, I do play it now and again, but it wasn't my first thing to go onto. But I'm sure there'll be other videos on YouTube that you can find out about that. Somebody's asked, Adam Mapson's asked, what's the best SMG? I've already covered that one. I won't even say your name because it's quite hard. But a guy called Ben has asked, what makes Hardpoint a viable game type compared to Headquarters? I've not played Hardpoint and I've not played Headquarters, but I've heard Hardpoint's quite good, and I'm open to any kind of game type, testing it out. But I always think a moving object is never going to be truly fair, because if something's moving around the map, people can get lucky with where they spawn. They might spawn nearer to an objective than another team. Whereas when it's a more rigid, like Domination, where it's rigid spawns, rigid flags, it's completely equal, there's no bias to either team. But when you have a moving objective, it can create quite a lot of randomness and a lot of luck, which obviously isn't good, because competitive games should be about the team that is the highest skilled should win. That's what it should be about, not about a flip of a coin and whoever gets heads wins. That's kind of how I'd see a moving objective game type being. But I guess we need to test that out there. It'll definitely be tested, so don't worry about that. Is the SMG or AR? Is it an SMG or AR dominant game? There's somebody called TC Alex has asked me, and so far I'm thinking it could be an SMG dominant game, and a lot of people are saying it's going to be AR dominant, or the ARs are sick, and I guess it could be if the ARs can be treated like SMGs in terms of the perks kind of make you run about like an SMG, and if you had the laser sight on it or something like that. But from what I've seen, there's a perk called Dexterity, which allows you to stop sprinting and shoot instantly. So you can sprint about as an SMG and then shoot straight away after you're sprinting. And it's really increased the pace of the game. It's the most fast-paced Call of Duty I've played by far. Publics are actually really fun because camping doesn't work so well. You'll just get swarmed by SMGs who are sprinting about. It's really my kind of style of play. I think this is the best COD for my style of play, of how I like to play. On Modern Warfare 3 I kind of adapted to it, and I kind of played a bit slower, a bit more conservative, because it was a really slow paced game, Modern Warfare 3, and it was the best way to play it. But I find on this game, swarming and just running about is the best way, and I honestly think SMGs will be back with a vengeance kind of thing on this game. I think they could be the dominant guns, there's no doubt about it. The SMG's got pretty good range when you get the long barrel on them as well. ARs, don't get me wrong, are good, and there's no doubt there probably will be 2 ARs and 2 SMGs, I'm guessing. But because the maps are really small, the maps are looking really good by the way, but because the maps are really small, there's a lot of tight corners, a lot of rooms. That's why I've upped my sensitivity is on 5, but I was using 2 for quite a while when I was streaming before the release of the game. But I've kind of upped my sensitivity a bit because I've noticed there's a lot of corridors, a lot of rooms. It's not a bad thing. There's not like loads of corners and boxes to hide behind. It's just there's a lot of like corridors, rooms. But the maps are so small, it kind of works. It's not too bad. But yeah, overall, I'd say it's going to be quite even. I think most of the maps will be SMG dominant. I think we could see 3 times SMGs, especially on CTF and domination, just because of the way the perks are working. Like I said, like dexterity. If you don't know what that is, have a look it up on Google. But yeah, it's definitely changed the game. I did actually tweet out saying it means that people can run about faultlessly, really, because you can sprint around without really feeling the repercussions of it. Sometimes you'd sprint around on 103 or past CODs, and you know you'd pay the price for it, really, because you'd get shut down by a pre-aiming AR for sprinting around like an idiot. But on this you kind of get away with it, but that's kind of increased the pace of the game, and I think it's going to be really good to watch SMG gameplays now. I think SMG gameplays will be really exciting on this game, which is obviously really good. Borders1 has asked, can you press the back button in theatre to see your score? I've not tried that yet, but overall the theatre, well, I haven't actually been in theatre, but the scoreboard itself is a lot more detailed. Things like domination, where when it's 2 5-minute rounds on domination in publics now, and it adds the score up. It adds the score up in CTFs, so you don't have to guess the score and things like that. Like you have to mod 3, everything's added up perfectly like it should be, which is really good. And another really good feature as well is like on launch on Black Ops 1 where the rocket went off. You can turn that kind of thing off on the maps now. There's a map called Express which has a train on it, and in the settings you can turn off the ability for the train to go across the map, and it's really good features actually by Treyarch so far. It's really good. So I won't worry about that one. Another question. Let's have a look how much time I've got, by the way. Right, 11 minutes 55. So I will do one more question. Let's have a look what there is. Do you like the map design, emblems? No, but not really any overpowered guns, Rocky, from what I've seen. How is the connection besides lag compensation? I think it's been fine so far. You do get a few dodgy hosts, but it's a lot better than Black Ops 1. A lot better. But yeah, I think it's fine so far. The hitboxes seem pretty good. People were complaining about it online, but I think it was just people being a bit skeptical. For me, it's been absolutely fine so far. Map designs, somebody else has asked. Yeah, like I said, look really good so far. But what I'll do, guys, is all the other questions I'll answer them in another one, because this has gone on for a bit longer than what I wanted because of my little rant at the start, but about Scorestreaks. But yeah, drop your comments below what you think about Scorestreaks, because it's quite an interesting topic. You know, it doesn't mean I'm right in what I'm saying, but I'm just saying what I think is true. And if you look at the Fed on DeSoto as well, it's massively in favour of not having Scorestreaks. So it would seem that the community in Europe is kind of going that way. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. The next video will be a Black Ops 2 gameplay, and I'll be pretty much uploading the video every day or every 2 days on release. And I'll also be streaming as soon as I can on the 13th. So if you guys are waiting for your Black Ops 2 to be delivered and you want to see a bit of live gameplay, I'll be streaming in the morning on the 13th, so make sure you check out the Twitch. The link will be in the description below. But yeah, please follow me on Twitter, guys, if you want. On @Sowerz, I'll be tweeting out a lot of updates about Black Ops. And thanks a lot for watching. Please drop the video a like. See you later.